Bang bang!
Welcome to the pod. Welcome, baby, welcome. Welcome, baby, welcome. Welcome to the party. Welcome, baby, welcome. Welcome, baby, welcome.
Welcome to the party, bang bang! It's your man Claytron, aka the Big Boss Man, aka the Clumsy Jeweler, because I'm always dropping gems, aka the Milkman, because I always deliver, aka the PhD of podcasts and the Magnum PI podcast and the Captain, the fucking James Dolan of podcasting, because I don't give a fuck about the haters, bro. I'm here. It is 5:30 in the morning. 5:30 in the morning on Easter Saturday, I think, or Sunday. I think it's Sunday. Because I've got a guest today. One of my favorite comics, Ian Edwards. I don't know how I got him on the show. You know, I got lucky, got very lucky. So yeah, man, I've got Ian Edwards on the show. Fantastic comedian. You can catch him on the new Killing Is Easy documentary about Patrice O'Neill. You can see some of his talents secretly. He's a writer on a lot of shows like The Boondocks, The Last OG, I think Undercover Brother Part 2. You know, you look him up on IMDb. His credit list is real long. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know how I got him on here, and man, he's such a good guy. Had a really good chat. Had a chat with him yesterday as well, but the Wi-Fi was real bad. The connection was bad, so we couldn't use it. And he lives in Hollywood. He lives in Hollywood. That's why I'm up so early to do this interview. We spoke yesterday. This is a busy man, and I was like, I can't use this, but thank you so much. It was great talking to you, blah, blah. And he's like, how about we do same time tomorrow? He said that, you know, not me. He, you know, generous with his time and all that. I'm very grateful to have had him on the show. And honestly, part of me still can't really believe it. So, yeah, man, listen to this episode, and yeah, go and look up Ian Edwards on YouTube or whatever and find his comedy. And mostly, yeah, stream his comedy on the, you know, on Spotify and all that good shit. So, you know, so he gets recognized for it. But he's awesome. So much, you know, so much fun to talk to. And yeah, man, just have a listen to this shit and tell a friend to tell a friend, man.
Warning, get back. You don't really wanna see my get mad. Pineapple she walk to the head back. Make my cold sleep like jet, like I said. Warning, get back. You don't really wanna see my get mad.
Yeah, after talking to you yesterday, because I didn't know you were doing The Last OG, so I binged like a season and a half of it yesterday. Have you been on it from the start?
No, that was just I just did this season.
Oh, okay.
So we finished writing it. Started writing it in November.
Yep.
Finished writing it like 2 weeks ago now, and they're in New York shooting it.
Okay. What's the writing room like on like TV shows like that?
Well, everything has changed because of COVID.
Yeah, right.
This is the first writing room that I ever did over Zoom.
Yeah.
Like normally you drive in the morning, you meet in the office, and everybody like hashes all the ideas out in a conference room. This time everybody just woke up like 8 in the morning, did some errands like workout and whatever, have some breakfast, and then log in at 10 a.m.
Yep.
and then pretty much stay on till like 4 p.m. or sometimes a little bit past that, and we're going back and forth. You got a writer's assistant in the Zoom writing things down. Sometimes when production is close and you say you have like 10 writers, normally you'd like go split the writers up send one to one room to work on one episode and another in another room to work on
Oh, okay.
another episode. But so they did that in Zoom. They had breakout rooms,
Yep.
and they just like so it was just everything that we do in person. We just did from my living room.
And they so they give you sort of an outline of what they want in the episode, and then you
Now we create the outline.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. We create the outline
Right.
for the season and for each episode so that they all add up to the sum of the season.
Right. Okay.
And we come up with jokes and we develop the characters, any new characters or any older characters further. And you just build.
Do you guys have anything to do with like the director or the talent at all as writers?
Yeah, because we spoke to Tracy a lot.
Yeah.
Like, when he would read the scripts and give his feedback, and we'd have to address his notes because he's the one on set. He's the one that pitched the show and came up with it. And then sometimes we'd see some of the auditions for some of the different roles.
Yep.
And give our opinion and stuff like that. Yeah.
And so, especially with someone like Tracy Morgan, who's very, he's got a very specific style. Do you write to the talent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Cool.
And then he'll tell you that's not how I would say that, or I wouldn't do that. Blah blah blah.
Oh
Yeah.
While we're on that kind of stuff, you were working on the Boondocks.
Yeah.
And what were you, the story editor or something like that?
Editor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just another title for writer.
Oh, okay.
Like there's different levels of writers. So there's staff writer, story editor, executive story editor, then co-producer, then I guess producer, then supervising producer, co-EP, EP. So it's like different you just ascend up the ladder of that. I might have left out one or two or put one in the wrong place or something like that. But that's basically you just climbing the writing ladder.
Okay. And because that was so culturally
But
relevant.
they're all writing jobs.
Yeah. Were you guys how quickly were you turning around content for the Boondocks? Because it was always stuff that was really going on at the time.
Well, some stories last longer than it's some stories seem like I remember us doing the R. Kelly episode as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But the R. Kelly news story lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, there was time to, I guess we took a chance. That's what Aaron wanted to do.
Yep.
But and news I think kind of was slower back then a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you'd milk an event. But now it's like, what you got next?
Yeah.
It's like a king eating a chicken bone. One bite, throw it away, grab it. It's
especially
no
with
digesting, nothing.
the attention span of the consumer these days as well.
Yeah.
So I'll go back over some of the stuff that we talked on yesterday, just because the recording didn't quite work out. But so you were born in London, Hammersmith.
Mhm.
I did look up the accent today. So it was
Hilarious.
a softer Cockney sort of accent.
A softer Cockney. Well, thank God it wasn't full Cockney. You don't want to go full Cockney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you listen to? What kind of music do you listen to? Do you listen to any grime?
I don't know what grime is. I listen to reggae, dancehall,
Yeah.
hip hop, indie rock, which is like white people's R&B. I listen to R&B. I listen to rock. Listen to hip hop. Sure, electronic music,
Okay.
pop music. Listen to all of it, man.
Everything.
It's all fun. Yeah.
And What age did you move to Jamaica?
When I was like 9 years old,
And
moved to Jamaica from England.
where in Jamaica were you?
Went to my father grew up in Church Pen,
Yep.
and that's in St. Catherine, I think. Yeah, St. Catherine. So first we lived there, and then we lived there for a minute. Then my father was working, got a was building a house. In Jamaica, it takes a while to build a house.
Yep.
Like there's houses there that have been being built that are have been built longer than my age. You know what I mean?
Oh wow.
Like every 5 years, somebody will add like a block to the house or some shit.
Okay.
Sometimes they start off real strong, like, oh, this one's gonna be finished fast, and then 10 years later, the whole foundation and the whole walls are there, but no roof,
Yeah.
and they're just waiting to get some roof money. But yeah,
Yeah.
he built
Right.
a house in a Liba Gardens, which is in Spanish Town, and that we moved there.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then you came over to you said Long Island,
yeah, New York, when I was like 17.
17.
Yeah.
And uh from what I've seen and read, you were working at a Burger King,
Hmm.
and you then realized there was a guy that was always making everybody laugh in there, and that you were like, that's
Hmm.
how I got to make friends over here, is make everyone laugh. Is that sort of how comedy started?
Yeah, that's kind of how comedy started. Just started as like a way to be more social,
Yeah.
which was like, it's like when you moved around a lot, so I had to start over as far as like making friends. I'm 17 and I have no friends, and every 17-year-old around me had a ton of friends,
Yeah.
because they still living where they grew up. So I got to start over again. It's like you trying to get your bearings in the country, and then everything that or everything that I knew, a, a lot of people couldn't relate to it, like like soccer or reggae music or just types of food. So you have to learn all these things and meet these new people and have fun and give them a reason for them to take time out of their lives to fuck with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Meanwhile, because their shit is already set, so Greg was always fun. His name is Greg Gallis. I still talk to him now. He's a DJ. He was a singer at the time too.
Okay.
And yeah, he even had a song on the radio. We're in the back at the Burger King working, and he had a song on the radio at the time.
Is
So
he still out there that way, or
so what?
is he still out in New York,
He lives in like Minnesota now.
Minnesota?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That was a weird time because he was like pursuing music, and he could definitely sing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
What kind of music was he singing?
like whatever. It's like 80s pop
Okay.
style R&B. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Greg could sing his ass off. So
Yeah.
yeah, he made a song with, you know, got some type of a deal, and they played it on the radio for a little bit.
Okay.
He still, but he never went on tour or nothing. He's in Burger King
Yeah.
on 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 fish fillets. We just back there, you know.
What was the first? Did you do your first open mic at a club, or like where was your first time on stage?
Governor's Comedy Club in Long Island in Levittown.
How did you go?
Oh, terrible.
Terrible.
First, yeah,
Do you know what your
horrendous, bro.
first joke was?
Nah, but they were just, it was just a night where, so when I decided to do comedy, uh, in the area that I worked,
Hmm.
there was a comedy club. So that was the funny thing, that I started working at Burger King, and then I knew where the comedy club was because I used to work in that area.
Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, lately I've been like looking at all the connections in my life and realizing, oh shit. Or seeing the connections or wondering why certain things happen. So Greg was funny, and he kind of triggered the funny in me, and that happened at Burger King. And then where I used to follow Greg on Friday when we got paychecks, we used to go to the Tri County Flea Market, and behind the Tri County Flea Market, there was a parking lot, and at the end, the other side of the parking lot was a comedy club called Governors. So I knew where Governors was. So when I decided I'm going to do comedy, I was like, let me go to some Governors open mics just to check out uh, the mics first. So I'd go to the mics,
Mhm.
and the mics would have like, sometimes 5 people in there, sometimes 10, sometimes 3. And I'd watch like the comics who were brand new, like doing stand up. And then I decided I was going to do it one night, and I made the mistake of telling everyone. And a bunch of people from Burger King came down. And I bombed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am never inviting anyone again. I got to get good at this shit. You
Yeah.
can't just be like inviting people to your first show. Because when I walked on stage,
Especially
and
New Yorkers, because they're not going to even give you fake support.
right, and I didn't deserve even fake support. I was that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's horrendous. Like, I'd been watching those shows, but I'd never gone on the stage. And as soon as I got on stage, the lights were so bright, I couldn't even fucking. It just took all my senses out.
Yeah.
When you can't see, then I'm like, oh snap! Now I know why the cops shine lights on you when they pull you over. It just stuns you.
Man, I heard that story you were telling on Joe Coy's podcast about it was
Oh
you
yeah,
and Joe and uh
France.
Lance. um
Yeah.
and that shit, people don't understand that shit. I haven't really had
hmm
too much of that in Australia, but when I was in
hmm
America, I got the shit kicked out of me by a cop in
Oh,
Chicago.
oh, what happened? Are you serious?
I was just I brought a drink out of the bar and I had it on the street. Um,
Oh,
and he threw me up against the car and told me to stay there with my hands on the hood of the car.
mm,
And it felt like that Eddie Murphy joke where he's telling you to spread your cheeks and lift your sack,
yeah, uh-huh.
And I'm standing there it felt like a long time. It might have been like 2 minutes, but it felt like 10 minutes. And I turned around, I took
Yeah.
my hands off the car and I said, am I getting arrested? And as soon as I took my
hmm
hands off the car, he just started just wailing on me.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, big black guy. He's like, you're like, don't you hear my accent?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would have sounded as Australian as possible.
Mate.
Queens, Australia,
Yeah.
mate, mate. So then what happened? So he hit you a bunch, and then what?
And then I got a fine for drinking in the street. It was like $400 or something.
Completely ignoring. He could have just told you, hey, you're not supposed to bring that on the street.
Yeah.
Like, he can tell by talking to you that you probably don't, didn't understand that. But
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. So that was like maybe my second spring break in the US was
Welcome to America, man.
yeah.
Doesn't matter where you're a big black guy from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually prefer the light in my face. I've realized when I'm
To the punches.
Yeah, to the punches. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take
would
a
too.
torch any day.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. No, but when I'm performing, like I feel like it's easier when I can't see the
Oh,
face
yeah.
of the crowd,
Yeah. You probably have to get past that.
Yeah, because otherwise I let the ego
Start
take
looking at people
over.
and making connections with them.
Yeah, I start end up like I might have 90% of the crowd like dying, and then I'll see one guy with his arms crossed, and that'll be my focus for the rest of my set,
Yeah, that's comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that. Yeah.
And so you always played soccer from a young age, obviously, like big sport in the UK and Jamaica. And
Mhm.
from what I understand, you were pretty good.
I mean, from what I tell people, yeah, I was damn good.
And
But
there was no league in the US at the time when like you were at that stage where you could have, you know, made a decision to go in that direction.
yeah, there was no league, and I did try like college, like
Yeah.
New York Institute of Technology. Like my sister was going there, so then I went there because she told me that they had a really good soccer team, which they did. They'd gone to the Final Four
Oh, okay.
in the NCAA, but the second division, but still they were a scholarship school. So I said, let me try going there, and they have like a good biology. I wanted to like do biology at the time,
Yep.
so it's like I can go there and then try to walk on and get a scholarship. But they had a bunch of players there from England that were like just top class,
Yep.
and it was just like my high school soccer coach, like soccer, the coach for the high school soccer team was the baseball coach. So you make extra money on the side
Yeah.
being the coach for the sport that nobody wants to coach.
Yeah.
And he don't know nothing about soccer. So I'm playing with a bunch of guys who are pretty much unmotivated. We ain't got no plan. It's just like an after school activity. It's not like it wasn't as serious as some of the schools that we faced. So to go from there to like a really super serious like environment like New York Institute of Technology showed me how far I was behind. I had a lot of catching up to do. So by the second season, I feel like I should have made the team. First season, no way.
Yep.
But second season, I feel like I should have made the team. And then they didn't put me on the first road trip, and if and I was pissed, so then I just quit. But
Right.
I think I should have just stayed, and I would have got on the team for the rest of the for the next part of it. Was only the beginning of the season anyway, and
Yeah.
it was the first. They weren't take me on the first road game, so I was just pissed at that. Because even the assistant coach was telling me, "Hey man, you're doing really good. You're gonna, you know." But I was like, "Fuck it,
Did you completely drop out of school or just quit the team?
just a team, just a
Yep.
team."
So did
And
you finish
the
college?
fun, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Because the funny thing about the college is, like I was talking about, like connection. So I went there to do biology because I went up to the school because I went up there before because my sister went there, and they had like a medical dome, and I forgot the name of the dome, but I was like, oh, I could go here and study biology and shit like that, and I did, and then you had to take electives, and one of the electives was a script writing class, which I didn't know that they had,
Mm.
and they had like a major communication program there. So I stumbled into a school that had stuff that I was going to end up really doing, but that's not why I went there.
Yeah.
So like so they had communications classes with film, TV, like we'd shoot stuff in class. I'd man the camera, learn how to direct, learn how to write scripts. There was a great journalist teacher there. Like he taught you the real deal. And then these are things that I got from college that I use like out here in LA. Like I
Yeah.
actually used some of that stuff, which, when I started comedy, I didn't know it led to writing and all that stuff.
Yep.
But for some reason I learned in college that TV show.
Um, and so which area did you find success in first? Was it comedy and then you sort of got these writing and directing opportunities from there?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I haven't directed anything,
Okay.
but writing, yeah. So it's comedy first, and then comedy, doing stand up, sometimes a lot of TV shows, uh, like sitcoms or variety shows or late night talk shows. When they're looking for writers, they check out comics. And being
Yeah.
a comic, somebody came to check me out one night and liked what I had, and then they asked me if I had any writing samples, and I said yeah. Then went home and wrote up a bunch of shit
Yeah.
and sent it to them, and then booked a job. Yeah,
Okay. What was your first
yeah.
writing job?
He was on Keenan Ivory Wayans. He had a talk show after in Living Color,
Yep.
so I did that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Um, and this is where everything sort of fell apart yesterday with the recording. So who you
Mhm.
you you were doing comedy in Long Island and you were seeing these guys on TV and you noticed that none of them were in your area. They were all in Manhattan. You had to get to Manhattan.
Oh
Um,
yeah. So I was
yeah,
telling you yesterday, so I told you earlier in this conversation that I started out Governors on Long Island, and I used to do Governors. Then there was a club in Westchester. Then there was a club in Yonkers. Then there were clubs in Queens. And then when I used to get booked for gigs, it would be in Long Island, Connecticut, and Jersey, right? And then I'd do the mics like in Queens or in Long Island. There were like three clubs in Long Island, like East Side and Governors and damn, what was the other one? Was it start with it, it was in Mineola, Chuckles.
yep,
And then there was Jimmy's Comedy Alley in Queens. So I used to do those spots. So when I started doing comedy, there were people doing comedy ahead of me. So they'd been doing it for a minute and they were good, right?
yep.
But none of those people were ever on the stand-up shows on TV. And that's when I realized, oh, only the Manhattan comics are on those stand-up shows. So I was like, I got to get into a club in Manhattan so I can get on these shows.
Yeah.
So once I had an audition at the Boston Comedy Club for a TV show, right?
Okay.
And so but they wanted to see you do stand up. And that night I did the audition and I killed like really hard. Like I got like a standing O. And then the
Okay.
manager, Barry Katz, he never saw me before. He was like, told me to keep coming back and we spoke about management. And he's gonna became my manager. He was Chappelle's manager at the time. And so then that's how I got into my first Manhattan club.
Right.
And once I got into the Manhattan club, I never went back to the Long Island clubs.
Yep.
Like I just dropped them. And I started doing one, getting like maybe 4 or 5 spots a week. Then it branched out to the cellar, then to stand up New York, to Caroline's, to some spots at the comic strip. And I just did, you know. So then I started getting like TV stuff, like
Okay.
stand up gigs on TV shows. Yeah.
Um,
I did
and
Uptown Comedy Club,
what kind of TV you got? You were on. You did Def Jam.
Def Jam,
Okay.
Uptown Comedy Club, because then like you're where all the bookers were in Manhattan,
Yeah.
and for Def Jam, uh, Bob Subner, I'd go to places where the people who are booking TV shows were working at. So Bob Subner had a club in Jersey, so you had to do that club in order to do Def Jam, or so that he would call you for the Def Jam auditions because he was aware of your existence. If
Yeah.
you didn't go into those places, like if I didn't go to the Uptown Comedy Club and if they didn't know me as a comic, they wouldn't ask me to audition, then I wouldn't have booked it and got the role. So I was like, Manhattan was the key.
Right. And do you think it's still like that now, even with social media and Zoom and all of that?
Depends on what you want to do because like because of social media, you can blow up anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's what you do with what you have. We all have, these things and we could do whatever we want with them and put ourselves out there. And there's agents looking for people who have a lot of following and they feel like they can make money from if they so agents come looking for people.
Yeah. Did
So
you did you have
doesn't matter where you live.
yeah. I guess I believe that because a lot of people do blow up off of social
Hmm.
media, but
Hmm.
when with the industry being so heavily located in New York and LA in terms of like television, if they see someone on social media that's good or even great,
Hmm.
it's still easier for them to get someone that's maybe a little bit underneath them that's local. Do you know what I mean? If they're like close to that same level of talent.
Uh, I don't think so.
No?
Some people, well, put it this way. So before, it works a bunch of different ways. So some people before you had to be in LA. Like I had to go to Manhattan
Yeah.
for those people to see me to, you know, but like Jay Farrow, like when he got on SNL, he put out a bunch of, from what I remember, like his impressions online, and then SNL saw him and then called him in for the audition.
Yep.
Like he didn't live in Manhattan. He lived, I think, down south or wherever he was from.
Yep.
And that, so you can get an opportunity, stay home in the comfort of your home. You don't have to like go to Manhattan, pay those high rents, and then struggle for a long time to be seen if you can build a following before that.
Yeah.
And showbiz is going to change now that the pandemic is over. A bunch of people moved to Austin, so and everybody realizes they can do shit from Zoom. And there's outside comedy clubs that got established during the quarantine.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going to stay, what's going to go, and what people are going to run with, and how I don't know how much the quarantine is going to change what we do, but we'll see.
Yeah. How often are you getting up these days?
Like once or twice a week.
Yeah. Where do you have like a local or like somewhere where you usually get up?
Yeah, like this spot called Jam in a Van. So a guy named Mark Hayes is actually an Irish comic. He puts on shows there, and then other people put on shows there. So I'll do shows there,
I've
and
heard
then
of
there's yeah, then
um
there's low key comedy.
your man Mike Rapp. He's done that Jam in the Van a couple
Yeah, yeah,
times.
a bunch of times. Yeah,
Have you seen what he's going through at the moment with KD?
yeah, yeah. I just was looking at a little bit of it yesterday. Yeah,
I thought it was all a joke at first with the first video that came out, but then like yeah, it started getting real foul in the DMs.
yeah. KD, yeah, KD went hard.
Yeah.
He obviously doesn't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, he's so sensitive. Like obviously having burner accounts and all that shit.
Who,
But
KD?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that was from a burner account.
No, that was from his real account. But like
Right.
he had burner accounts and he got in trouble because he accidentally tweeted something a while back defending himself as a fan, but it was from his own account.
Hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's wild. He got a 50K fine for that.
He got that.
Yeah.
That's nothing. That's nothing to him.
No, nothing. He's got to be close to a billionaire at this point with all his. He was out there doing investing and stuff in Silicon Valley when he was with Golden State.
Yeah, he might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did you have like a mourning process when you were leaving? Like you kind of stop playing soccer, or did you kind of moved on straight away?
I kind of moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always played, like it's been a huge part of my life. Like when I stopped playing, like in colleges, I was always in like some little weekend league
Okay.
and having fun, or have a group of friends that I played with. And when I moved to LA, like one of the best times of my life was like just playing soccer. Like we used to, I found a group and again, like I was working on some show, and somebody who worked on the show told me about a bunch of guys, a bunch of dudes that played. I think at the time they were playing at let's just say it was Fairfax High School in on Wednesday evenings.
Mm-hmm.
So I just heard about them. So I just went over there. Sure enough, they was there. And the guy I was working with, he was a PA on the show I was writing with. So we played with them. And then I played with those guys for like 10 years after that one day.
Oh
And
wow.
we played 3 times a week. And then it was a nucleus of a bunch of guys, but then on Saturday, a different bunch of people would join them. And on Sunday, some of the same people from Saturday but some other new people from Sunday would join. And then
Yeah.
on Wednesday, it's them, and then whoever could play on Wednesday. So then we just all, and those guys are still playing. And a
Wow.
lot of them was like below the line, like uh workers on like movies and television shows, like cameramen, one guy that invented slam dance or created slam dance, the festival that plays concurrently with Sundance, and
Oh, okay.
another homeboy Kennedy just hit me today. He was like a DP. Some other guy with that. I was just good, fun group of guys that I just, one did graphics for NBC. It was just, and there were like French people, Italian people, and English, and
Are there any other comics that have
Eastern
been put before?
European. There's one comic from the Comedy Store. He used to come with me there and play a little bit. His name's Francisco Ramos. And then Maz used to, Maz Jabrani.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays soccer. Used to. So then I went with him and played with his Iranian friends once. Yeah,
Okay.
a few times. Yeah.
If you had to put together a comics soccer team, who would you start picking up?
10 years ago, it would be a better.
Yeah.
Everybody's old as shit now.
Yeah.
I would pick. But you know who I played with Judah Freelander before. He came
Oh yeah.
and played with me. Yeah, and Judah can play, or he used to be able to play. Yeah.
I loved his the special he did with the iPhones on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forget what it was called. Something about America, the best country in the world, or best worst country in the world, or something like that.
Uh-huh. That's
Yeah.
funny title.
I had, like I was telling you yesterday, we had the Fringe Festival in Adelaide last month, and I went out and played pickup with a bunch of comedians.
Basketball or football?
Basketball.
Basketball.
And they were trying to think of someone that I would match up well against in just like in the Australian scene. And then they said, do you think that there's any comics that could beat you one-on-one? And at this state, like, I don't know if Blake Griffin counts as a comic or not. But I feel like he's the only one.
He doesn't count as a comic. He kind of, but if we had to send a representative, it would be him.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I know there's a few guys that say that they play, like Santino. Santino said he was pretty good.
Right. I never seen him play.
Yeah. There used to be like a comic store, store.
But I don't know how good those guys were. I never went to see them play. There's no way I was going to go watch a bunch of dudes that need to work on their comedy go play basketball.
Yeah.
So
was that just like a once a year thing when they were doing that?
No, they had a league.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know who was in the league, but they had a league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm too scared to get back into competitive. Once I saw Segura go down. Shit, I don't know if
that's why I stopped playing too. I was like, oh, you could get hurt and then be out for a minute. And I always had like ankle problems. Like I'd like twist my ankle for like, and I wouldn't be able to, I'd just be limping around for like a month. And I was like, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah. And you don't want to go on to stage with crutches or a moon boot or something. It's too distracting.
Or just playing 3 days a week and I'm not getting paid.
Yeah.
No recovery time. I ain't young. And one day I saw this old man walking across the street and he just couldn't move. And I was like, damn. Back then I could like feel like the bones in my knees rubbing on each other when I played. And I was like, I gotta tap out because I want to be able to cross the street when I'm that dude's age.
Yeah.
So then I was like, let me just stop.
Yeah, I mean, even when I walk my dog, I come home and I need to sit down for a while because my knees are all fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, so I thought I was gonna have like these huge major knee problems. My knees ain't the best, but I just started like even though I'm vegan, I was a bad vegan, so I just started eating just better
Yeah.
and like less inflammatory foods, like, and then just my knees feel better than they did like even 10 years ago.
And do you cook most nights? Do you like you
Yeah,
hit?
because of the pandemic, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I always wanted to like cook, but I was on the road, so
Yeah.
I just always ate out. But then when the pandemic hit, I was just like, it's just time to just watch these YouTube videos and
Yeah.
make some meals. Yeah.
Pre-pandemic, were you like a road dog, or because obviously you've got all your writing work as well? Are you usually on the road? Do you do a lot of touring?
Yeah, I was touring. I was
Yeah.
like, I had 2020, I'd been to Australia already. Like I went to
Oh.
Australia with Tosh. And we did some shows in like 3 cities.
Oh wow.
And then I was supposed to come back for the Melbourne and the Sydney Festival.
This year.
I mean, last in
Oh,
2020.
oh yeah. Yeah.
And then everything slowly started just getting canceled.
Yeah.
But
Because
the
of that.
last time I was at the Melbourne Festival, I played. That's probably the last time I played soccer. Like me and a bunch of comics,
Yeah.
like went to the park like 3 times and played some soccer, guys and girls. It was fun as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Oh yeah. What were you touring? You were touring TED Ian Talks before the pandemic, or was that?
No, I was using Ian Talks to tour, but
Yeah.
I was working on a new special.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And did the pandemic ruin that special? Like, are you going to continue with that material that you weren't able to?
Yeah, some of it is still good, but
Yeah.
some of it is still good, but some of it you can't. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I
But I
feel,
have new material based on whatever happens anyway. So
yeah, I feel like some guys, if they didn't get the opportunity to record a special, might be tired of that material, even if it's still relevant. They may not even feel like using it. Do you know what I mean? Like, once you
mhm.
sort of get over your own jokes, it's hard to bring life to them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah.
Um. Oh, the bad boys of comedy. Did you get to meet P Diddy?
Did I meet him? Yeah, we said hi.
He seems like
But
he'd just have such an intense vibe.
he didn't have to for that. All
Yeah.
he had to do was show up, like, he set, it's set up. He has people that run it, he delegated. So, he just had to be there to do the Russell Simmons role, you
Yep.
know.
Yeah. Right.
Just with Def Jam, like, Russell hired the right people, so he didn't have to on the day like be running around and doing shit,
Yeah.
you know.
And the Patrice documentary "Killing Is Easy's just dropped recently,
Hmm.
and you were pretty tight with Patrice.
Yeah, yeah, it was a
Sort of,
homie.
you guys did you guys come up at the same time, or like you sort of just in the same scene at the same time?
It's like I was telling you yesterday. So once I got to Manhattan,
Mm.
that's when like Burr came to town, Patrice came to town, uh, Rogan came to town, and people just started moving to New York to pursue comedy in New York, and that's where I met Norton, Keith Robinson, Wanda moved to New York,
Hmm.
Wanda Sykes, and we all used to perform in the same clubs. Rich Voss, hang out after, eat lunch, do the same colleges, and so then and regulars at the cellar, sitting at the table, talking shit every night.
Yeah.
And then I left and I came here because I got the writing job. But then when Patrice would come to LA or I'd go back to New York, we'd hang.
Yeah. And you talked on the documentary about his honesty as a comic.
Right.
Uh, Um, do you feel like he had another level of honesty compared to everyone else.
Yeah, compared to most people I know, yeah.
He was unwilling to bend or break for anybody.
Uh, I mean, that's got nothing to do with honesty. He's just being honest, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like you told me something yesterday about being with comics now
Yeah.
for you. And how tall are you?
6'7".
6'7". So you represent the guy that beat up some of the comics
In
that you're
high
with
school.
now in high school.
Yeah.
Like you just look like that guy.
Yeah.
So then they might treat you a certain way. They might treat you like the guy that beat them up.
Yeah.
Or you might come off that way without even trying
Mhm.
because you're physically. So, Patrice saying no, being a big loud guy, people just might get intimidated by that,
Yeah.
you know. Like that cop you told me about. He's probably intimidated by your size, so he's jumping on your hip, even though cops will beat up a black woman. It doesn't even matter
Yeah.
sometimes. But you moving, he just jumped on you. He's just assuming,
Yeah.
Eh, So it's it's just a combination of things,
Yeah.
He's a funny guy who wants to be honest. He's being honest about his life, so he's going to be honest about yours too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
um,
yeah. It's harder to be honest about yourself.
yeah. Do you
Yeah,
you participate in Burr's benefit?
yeah. I did the first one.
The first
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah,
And you did a show last week at the Rose Bowl with
yeah.
Burr and Spade. Who else was there?
Uh, uh, Nicole, Amy Schreiber, Laura Bites, and I didn't get there at the beginning of the show.
Okay.
So when I got there, Spade was on, then it was Bird, then it was me, then Nicole, Amy Schreiber.
Yeah.
So
And
I
that
didn't see
was
who opened up.
people were in their cars or on their cars. How was that set up?
Most people were in their cars, and some people in the front were standing outside their cars,
Yeah.
set up like a little picnic area. So there was some people outside their cars.
Yeah. And you said you prefer the open air venue.
Yeah, I don't prefer like the car ones.
Yeah.
Like the car ones, normally they don't have the intimacy of like sitting in a room with people or sitting outside with people.
Yeah.
Like people are listening to the jokes on their radio inside their car, and you can't connect with them as much or hear the laughter as much. You just have to like trust it, but there's nothing like feeling it and seeing it. So I like a lot of the outside shows that have like chairs
Yep.
and people are just sitting outside under some nice ass lights, and it can be just as intimate as a comedy club. I had some really good and a lot of fun doing some of these outside shows.
Yeah. I just felt like because it was a festival and there was a lot of outside venues at the Fringe Festival last month. There was so much noise bleed, and I felt like the laughter would just sort of evaporate. So I felt like it was hard to pace jokes because you had to sort of guess when the laughter stopped or if it happened.
Right. I mean, listen, man, it's 2 years in, right? Is it 2?
Yeah.
So, it's just gonna be tougher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you got so much to learn.
Yeah.
Like so. This is just a great opportunity to get like all these different experiences under your belt and like figure out how to deal with them better next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even for me the other night at that drive-in show, I feel like I could have prepared more, especially knowing that people are going to be in their cars. I probably needed to be tighter and go over that set more, you
Yeah.
know. And I had a decent time, but I could have had a better time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a charity that you like to support or a favorite charity?
I've the Innocence Program.
Innocence Program.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I play a game with all my guests on the
Mhm.
show. It's called Sourced Unsourced.
hmm
And so it's just basically true or false. And I got 5 questions for you. $10 per question for the Innocence Program. So sourced is true, unsourced is false. And these are all Burger King themed questions or statements. Now, Burger King was founded in 1953, sourced or unsourced?
Let's say sourced.
Yes, sourced. So that's $10 for the Innocence Program. Burger King was first called Insta Burger King. Sourced or unsourced?
Unsourced.
It was actually sourced.
Oh shit.
The original owners bought the rights to a grill called the Insta Burger, and that's why it was called the Insta Burger. No, the Insta Broiler. So it's called the Insta Burger King.
Oh, so you didn't even give me the right answer. You did. So if
No,
you said
it was called Insta Burger
If-
King, but it was because they bought the rights to a grill called the Insta Broiler.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Innocence. I'm trying to get that money back.
Burger King once offered table service.
Shit, anything's possible. Sourced.
Yes.
Mhm.
Burger King headquarters is in Chicago, Illinois. Sourced or unsourced?
Let's go sourced.
Unsourced.
Unsourced.
It's in Miami.
Mm,
And
that's
finally,
hilarious, Miami. If you'd have said Miami, I would have still said unsourced.
yeah.
I would never think
There's
yeah.
too many bodies down there.
it's too much partying to be done to be getting any business done. No wonder Burger King is not as prominent as McDonald's as it used to be, and it's like been slipping. They're partying in Miami. They
Yeah.
have no time to advertise.
Finally, Burger King in Australia is called Hungry Jack's.
Sourced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Why is it called Hungry Jacks? Why are you okay?
I don't know, because there's actually there's a few Burger Kings around the country. But then in those cities, there's still Hungry Jack's as well. So I'm not sure what the deal is.
All right.
Yeah. But all right. So that's $30 for the Innocence program. Was it?
All right. Something.
Yeah. It's better than nothing. I'm not making big money doing this. So. Yeah, no, thanks for coming on though. Really appreciate the
No
time.
problem.
There's a little bit of fucking around, so I appreciate you still being able to come on.
It's all good.
What are you doing at the moment? Do you have anything to plug?
Just the Ian Talk album is available like on Sirius and Pandora and all those radio outlets, and
Spotify. Listen to it on Spotify,
Spotify, and what else? Follow me on Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic, or on Twitter at Ian Edwards Comic. Yeah.
We'll chuck your socials in the episode description as well. All right, so everybody go and listen to Ian Talks and follow Ian on all of his social media. And yeah, thanks again for coming on.
All right, fam.
Yeah, really
all right, my
appreciate
pleasure. Glad we finally did it.
Yeah, it was good, man.
Baby, welcome to. Baby, welcome to.